Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel, I hope. Everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Golden Bachelorette. Nothing compares to you. Joan Vassos' love for her late husband is sweet, but could be a red flag in her relationship with Chock Chapple. The Golden Bachelorette star Joan Vassos lost her late husband John Vassos to pancreatic cancer 4 years ago, and her enduring love for him may make it hard for her to settle down with Chock Chapple. In Sinead O'Connor's poignant song, Nothing Compares to You, which was written by Prince, she sings, "It's been 7 hours and 15 days since you took your love away." The late Irish singer's haunting voice perfectly captures the bittersweet tension of trying to move forward while cherishing the past. While Joan has found a connection with Chock, her late husband John continues to cast a long shadow over her heart. Joan's journey of love has been a delicate balancing act as she learns to honor her late husband's memory while still exploring a new relationship. Her story is a powerful reminder that grief and love can often coexist. Thanksgiving was a strong reminder of the depth of Joan's love for John. Although the sometimes controlling Chock spent the holiday with Joan and her family, Joan made a heartfelt pilgrimage to John's grave site on his birthday, which fell just before Thanksgiving. Joined by family and eating breakfast, she sang happy birthday to John and shared memories. Chock, supportive as always, stayed home with his children. However, this act speaks volumes about Joan's enduring love for her late husband. It also highlights Joan's commitment to preserving John's place in her life, even as she explores a future with Chock. Her ability to balance both worlds reflects her strength and the boundaries of her new relationship. Though Joan and Chock are excited to begin their future together, Joan has openly expressed doubts about rushing into another marriage. This might stem from her lingering feelings of loyalty towards John. In her Golden Bachelorette journey, Joan admitted she still held a balloon for John in one hand, even as she grew closer to Chock. Joan explained that her therapist encouraged her to use the balloon metaphor to help her reconcile her feelings for her new and past love. Her fears may not be about lack of commitment, but about Joan's need to navigate the emotional terrain of loving two people in profoundly different ways. Could a quick engagement feel disloyal to John? Maybe, as it's clear that she wants to tread carefully to respect her past and her future. John passed away unexpectedly, leaving Joan and their family to grapple with immense loss. As she mourned him this Thanksgiving, she recorded a TikTok, as shown above, sharing her feelings. Joan has embraced therapy and worked to heal. She's also been candid about how grief continues to shape her decisions. Reflecting on John's influence, she has described him as irreplaceable, underscoring the challenge of opening her heart to someone new, even someone as supportive as Chock. Joan's journey on the Golden Bachelorette has shown that love doesn't follow a simple path. Her story is one of balancing two loves, the one that shaped her life for decades and the one that offers a hopeful new chapter. For his part, Chock seems to understand the importance of Joan's past. He's considerate as they work toward building a blended family. Joan's story resonates deeply with fans of the Golden Bachelorette because it's painfully honest. She symbolizes the reality of loss, healing, and the courage to love again while still holding onto the memory of a past love. While Sinead's song laments a love that's gone, Joan's journey teaches listeners that love can evolve. It's not about replacing, but about expanding the heart. Joan and Chock's future still remains unwritten. However, one thing is clear: Joan's love for John will always be part of her story, even as she forges a new path forward. Joan Vassos walked onto the glittering patio of the Golden Bachelorette mansion, her sequined dress catching the soft glow of fairy lights strung above. As the final rose ceremony approached, Joan was grappling with an internal storm that few could understand. On the surface, she was radiant, poised, and ready to find love again. But in her heart, the shadow of a love lost lingered. The love she shared with her late husband, Greg. Greg was, as Joan often described him, her soulmate, the man who knew her every thought before she could voice it. They had shared decades of laughter, dreams, and even the mundane joys of life that in hindsight felt extraordinary. His passing had left a void that no one had yet dared to fill. Until now. Enter Chock Chapple, a retired firefighter with a heart as big as his laugh. Chock was unlike any man Joan had ever met. His charm lay not in his grand gestures, but in the way he truly saw Joan, her strength, her vulnerabilities, and her unshakable loyalty to Greg's memory. And while Joan found herself drawn to Chock's warm embrace and steady presence, there was an unspoken tension between them that neither could ignore. That tension came to a head during their one-on-one date at a vineyard nestled in the rolling hills of Napa Valley. Over glasses of Pinot Noir, Chock had asked the question that had been simmering beneath their connection. "Joan, do you think there's room in your heart for someone like me, someone who isn't Greg?" Joan had paused, her fingers tracing the stem of her glass. The vineyard's golden sunset cast her face in soft light, highlighting the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. "Chock, nothing compares to what I had with Greg. That doesn't mean I can't find something different, something equally meaningful." Her words were honest, but they also hinted at the uphill climb any man would face in vying for Joan's heart. For Chock, it was both a challenge and a potential red flag. Could he compete with the memory? Should he even try? Throughout the season, Joan's love for Greg had been a central theme. During group dates and cocktail parties, she spoke of him with reverence, her stories painting a picture of a love so profound that it felt almost mythical. The other contestants listened respectfully, but whispers began to circulate. Was Joan truly ready to move on? Or was she seeking someone to fill Greg's shoes, an impossible task? For Chock, the stakes were higher than ever. As the competition narrowed and his connection with Joan deepened, he couldn't ignore the feeling that he was living in Greg's shadow. During a heart-to-heart with host Jess Palmer, Chock laid his fears bare. "I care about Joan, I really do," Chock confessed, his voice tinged with vulnerability. "But sometimes, I feel like I'm auditioning for a role Greg already perfected. How do I compete with a ghost?" Jess, ever the voice of reason, offered some advice. "You don't have to compete, Chock. Joan isn't looking for another Greg. She's looking for someone who can meet her where she is now. Someone who can embrace her past while building a future with her. The question is, can you be that person?" The turning point came during Joan's hometown date with Chock. He had planned a day that combined fun, nostalgia, and a dash of vulnerability. They toured his favorite childhood haunts, shared a homemade apple pie baked by Chock's sister, and ended the day by visiting a firehouse where Chock had spent decades of his career. It was there, amidst the scent of smoke and memories, that Chock shared his own story of loss. Years ago, he had lost a fellow firefighter, his best friend, in a tragic blaze. The grief had been overwhelming, but it had also taught him the importance of living fully, even in the face of unimaginable pain. "Joan," Chock said, his voice steady but emotional, "I know what it's like to carry someone's memory with you every day. And I know it doesn't mean you're not open to new love. It just means that love changes shape. It's not about replacing, it's about adding." Joan's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, she felt truly understood. Chock wasn't asking her to let go of Greg. He was asking her to let him in, to make room for a new chapter without erasing the old. Back at the mansion, the other contestants were buzzing with speculation. Chock had emerged as a frontrunner, but his bond with Joan wasn't without its critics. Pascal Ague, a suave and confident restaurateur, didn't shy away from voicing his doubts. "Joan's love for her late husband is beautiful," Pascal remarked during a confessional. "But is she truly ready to move forward? Or is she clinging to the past? Chock might be willing to take that risk, but I'm not sure it's a risk worth taking."